4 days removed from the start of the 2024 season, and recruiting is just heating up for the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is Way Offsides. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to your weekly Cruton Roundup. It's Tuesday, and although the season is only 4 days away, there is a lot going on in the world of recruiting that we want to talk about. Now, right off the bat, I don't know if I'm going to get to all the fancy graphics. I may just have to upload this as is, but that's okay. We're going to keep it short, sweet, simple, to the point. I know you guys love recruiting, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Still got the lighting issues going on. Blame Bill. It's not me. Definitely Bill. Hashtag shut up, Bill. We'll just do shut up, Bill in the chat. So hashtag shut up, Bill in the chat. Anyway, it's Tuesday. Alabama plays Western Kentucky this weekend. Be sure to check out. We've got previews going on all week long discussing what's going on. But if you're following our shorts, and you should be, if you're not, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that way you'll know every time one comes up. You'll know that there's a lot of movement in the world of college football recruiting specific to the 2025 class right now. And we've got some juicy nuggets that we're going to get into here in just a minute. The first of those nuggets being Mr. 5-star defensive lineman Justice Terry. Now, defensive lineman is a position of need for Alabama. And Terry, who was once committed to the Georgia Bulldogs, decommitted, then committed to USC, then decommitted, and immediately was crystal balled by all the big guys straight back to Georgia, although he took an official visit to Alabama. Now, I've been telling you this is a guy to keep an eye on, that Alabama is in play for Justice Terry. He is heavily favored to Georgia. Let me be very clear. Still heavily favored to Georgia. But Terry will attend the Georgia-Clemson game on Saturday. I believe that's the 2:30 slated game, maybe the early game that day. I don't know. We'll see. But he'll be at that game. But he will also be in Tuscaloosa on September 28th for the Alabama-Georgia game. Now, much like Naeem offered going to Oregon to watch Oregon-Ohio State, that could mean a couple of things. It could mean that Terry is starting to lean a little bit more towards Alabama, or it could just mean he wants to go see what Georgia looks like on the road in a big-time environment. And there's not much bigger on Georgia's schedule outside of Tuscaloosa on September 28th. That game is going to be a host of stars. And by stars, we mean recruiting stars. We do know that 4-star linebacker out of Florida, Ty Jackson, will be in attendance to that game. But another area of need for Alabama, especially after Jordan Harmon bounced to Tennessee. Makes me sad. But on a more positive note, Alabama, we've talked to you a lot about Jordan Young, the 4-star safety who is verbally committed to NC State. Young will be in attendance for the Alabama-Georgia game as well. That is one you definitely want to keep an eye on. Alabama's making a hard push for him, even though he's verbally committed to NC State. We've talked a lot about that safety position, although Alabama is very good there right now in terms of talent and depth. It is someplace that they need to address in the 2025 class, as well as that defensive line. And so Jordan Young is definitely a area of priority, a priority need for Alabama and Coach Womack. But if you guys follow us on Twitter, you probably saw that there is a recruit at Alabama, big-time recruit who committed back in June, committed during his official visit weekend with Ryan Williams in attendance. Micah DeBose, 5-star. Some places have him as a 4-star interior offensive lineman. DeBose has been flirting heavily with Ohio State. A few weeks ago, fresh off of that verbal commitment, he posted a picture of himself at a competition. I can't remember which one, but he had on the Ohio State gloves and the Ohio State towel. I felt like he was trolling in that video. But if you go over and take a look at his Instagram, he posted a video yesterday of Travion St. Clair, the Ohio State quarterback commit, talking post-game about how every other day they're talking to Micah DeBose, apparently on the phone, and they're trying to get it done and get him flipped. He said, "Watch it. It's a matter of time." DeBose took that video, put it to his story, liked the video, and promptly removed Alabama from his bio. Does that mean he's going to Ohio State? It's tough. Probably not, but it's who knows, honestly, with these kids. But I will say that he does have a history of trolling other teams who are recruiting him. He did also post a picture of a video that Aaron Hodges posted to social media today to his story. So we'll see. It could just be he thought it was a cool video, being the fact that this big time quarterback recruit is mentioning how bad Ohio State wants him, but he's still locked in with the Tide. We'll see. Another player to watch, well, not really to watch anymore, but another player that was getting a little bit of smoke around him was 5-star wide receiver Caleb Cunningham. Caleb Cunningham committed not long ago to the Crimson Tide. He's out of Mississippi, and it was announced yesterday that he would be attending an Ole Miss game. Now, everybody's like, hey, I don't understand. Why would he be going to an Ole Miss game? I don't get it. He's from Mississippi. A lot of friends, former players are going to be at that game that he's going to. It was also by Chad Simmons, which shout out Chad Simmons from On3. On3's main account is the one that posted the information that he's going to visit the Ole Miss game, but they left out the caveat that he plans on visiting Tuscaloosa again afterwards. Chad Simmons did not leave that part out. He said, hey, he's going to visit Tuscaloosa again afterwards. Chad Simmons went a step further today and reached out to Caleb Cunningham, who said, I am locked in with Bama. We are part of a chat, and there are some members of that chat who have a connection with Caleb Cunningham. They've talked to him, and he said, no, I'm not going anywhere. It's just a friendly recruiting visit with friends, family. You guys from Mississippi. There's nothing for Alabama fans to be concerned there. And just as a cherry on top to make you feel a little bit more comfortable, Caleb did put up on social media a bunch of elephants today, just kind of as a, hey, I'm still locked in. Same thing he did when the rumors were swirling that he was going to flip to Auburn for the Big Cat weekend that they had, recruiting weekend, which turned out to be very fruitful. But Caleb Cunningham was like, no, I'm not going. So he changed his mind, said, no, I'm not going. There's rumors that Micah DeBose is also going to be at Alabama's opener against Western Kentucky this weekend. I would imagine he's probably going to be at the Alabama-Georgia game too. He at one point in time was committed to Georgia. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. There's not been a lot of smoke around Turbo Rogers. The grand thought was that once AK Deer committed to Alabama, that AK Rogers Turbo Rogers, Anthony Turbo Rogers may jump ship and take a position with Ohio State or Auburn. I think some of that talk was put to bed by Turbo, who pretty much said, hey, I'm not going. I'm going to stick it out. I'm still committed to Alabama. I'm going to play with AK Deer. He's excited to team up with AK Deer in Alabama's backfield. And you have to think that a lot of Alabama's running back production over the next 2 seasons is going to be gone pretty quick. Justice, guys like that. So Jam Miller is going to draft this year. Sure, Justice Hayes could draft, I think, as early as next year. And then it's going to be the Richard Young show, Daniel Hill. So those 2 guys come in, sit for a year, and then they're it. So right now, as of today, Alabama's doing fine. They're sitting with the number 2 class. The only real smoke around anybody bouncing out is Micah DeBose. Auburn, Tennessee, LSU, and Ohio State fans will tell you otherwise, but that's just a lot of talk. As we tell you all the time, follow the visits, watch what they do. Don't listen to the talk, follow the visits. Typically that is the right way to predict or get a feel for what these kids are going to do. But in Caleb Cunningham's situation, it's a little unique in that he's from Mississippi and going to go enjoy that game with friends and family and probably former teammates. So that is all that's going on in the world of recruiting right now. Like I said, there's not much, but I just want to encourage you guys, keep in mind, remember, this goes on through the season. This isn't over until December. What happens on the field in Auburn, in Tuscaloosa, in Athens, in Knoxville, in Baton Rouge, in Columbus, what's about to happen up in Ann Arbor, I know y'all saw that documentary today. What's about to happen up there at Ann Arbor is going to impact recruiting heavily. The entire landscape is going to shift dramatically before December. Alabama could go up. They could sit where they are. They could drop. And the same goes for other schools. Don't be surprised if some of these schools that are down around the 5 or 6 mark finish above Alabama. Here's the thing, and we've been telling you guys this for months. If Kalen DeBoer and this new staff can solidify a top 5 recruiting class in this year, this specific year, that is one of the most amazing recruiting feats of all time. To come in and replace Nick Saban, lose what they lost to the portal, and still put together a top 5 class. It's pretty incredible. Now, Alabama's offense, and I believe their defense, is going to do a lot of the recruiting for them this fall. That's going to piss a lot of people off, a lot of non-Bammers, non-Gumps. But let them be mad. I mean, whatever. You got to cope, you got to cope. Have some copium. But I think Alabama's offense and defense will recruit heavily for them. I think there are a lot of people who still have Alabama on their radar, and this goes for the 26, 27 classes as well, who still have Alabama on their radar, but they're just waiting to see what the product on the field looks like. Tyler Booker said it's still going to be the same Bama standard. Well, if they get on that field and prove it, Bama's still going to be the brand. They're still going to be the brand. That's all we've got for today, guys. You know the drill. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands. But before you do any of that, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. As a lot of you know who followed us for a long time, we kind of got dinged by YouTube. It's YouTube's fault, not ours. So any sharing that you do, inviting people to subscribe to the channel is super helpful right now until we get this ironed out. But like I said, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down. Beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Don't sweat Cruton right now. Don't sweat Cruton. We're going to keep you up to date, but don't sweat Cruton because Bama plays this Saturday, y'all. Roll Tide.